She turned men to stone, but the god who cursed her was never the one who hurt her first. What if the monsters of mythology were never the monster of the story? 5 gods carried crimes. An entire pantheon needed someone else to answer for. She's the last one, and the one history got most wrong. They call him the god who ate his own children. Say his name in any classroom, and that is the whole story. A king so hungry for power, he swallowed his own blood before it could stand against him. But no one asked what made him that afraid. You are Kronos, and you have already watched one king fall, your own father, cut down by your mother's hand and yours. You know exactly how fast a crown can turn into a memory. So when the prophecy comes that one of your sons will take the throne you bled to win, you don't wait to find out which one. When Rhea places your first child in your arms, you don't see a son. You see a countdown. One by one, as each child draws breath, that breath goes no further than your throat. Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. 5 silences where 5 cries should have been. Rhea hands you a 6th child wrapped in cloth. Inside, only a stone. You never notice the difference. You never get the chance to. Years later, Zeus comes for you anyway. The throne falls exactly as promised, exactly as it always does in these stories. Here is what the histories rarely finish. After you fall, the very poets who condemn you also write that your reign had been the golden one, a time before hunger, before old age, before grief. And when it ends, they don't send you to torment. They give you an island. Kronos swallowed his children out of fear, and Greece called him a monster. Half a world away, in the water mists of Babylon, another god paid an even higher price for a fear that was never even hers to begin with. Before there were gods with names, there was only water. The fresh water of Apsu and the salt water of Tiamat, moving together until their mingling gave birth to everything that came after. Their children were loud, restless, the kind of restless that keeps a parent from resting. Apsu, tired of the noise, decided the simplest cure was silence. He would end them before they grew strong enough to end him first. Ea heard the plan before it could happen. He struck first. Apsu never woke again. Tiamat was not told. She learned it the way a wife learns everything last, after it was already done, after her husband's killer had already built his palace on the very water where Apsu used to rest. Grief, in her hands, became an army. She shaped monsters from the deep and set Kingu, her second husband, at their head. She did not attack first. She answered. Marduk met her instead. He filled her open mouth with wind until she could not close it and loosed an arrow into what was left of her breath. When it was finished, he did not bury her. He split what remained of her in half and built the sky from one side, the earth from the other. Every sunrise since has risen out of a body that once only wanted her husband's death answered. This one wasn't swallowed out of hatred. She was swallowed out of respect, because Zeus knew exactly how dangerous she was. Ask anyone how Athena was born, and you will get the same answer from her father's skull alone, fully grown, fully armored, needing no mother at all. It is a beautiful story. It is also not true. Before Hera, before any of the queens history remembers, there was Metis, a titan the old poems call, wiser than every god and every mortal combined. Zeus married her first, loved her even, in whatever way a king like him was capable of love. Then came the same warning that had once cost his own father a throne. Metis would bear a daughter equal to him in mind, and after her, a son who would surpass him entirely. Zeus did not wait to find out which child came first. He tricked her into shrinking down, small enough to vanish, and swallowed her whole. Athena was born anyway, from his own skull, fully grown, fully armored. The court called it a miracle. No one asked where her mother had gone. So why does almost no hymn, no shrine, no surviving myth speak her name again? Was it grief that erased her? Or was erasing her the entire point? One marriage disappeared from memory. The next one would not be so easy to erase. Like the goddess before her, her power was buried. But where that grief vanished in silence, this queen was buried under something louder: mockery. You are the queen of every altar in Argos. Women bring you offerings before every wedding, every birth, every vow spoken under your name. In your own temples, no one laughs when you enter the room. Then the poets get hold of your story. Zeus breaks his vows again and again, and you are the one left to answer for it. Because a king cannot be written as weak, so his wife must be written as jealous instead. Leto runs from you across every shore in the world, hiding a pregnancy you did not create. Heracles, a son who was never yours to raise, grows up under a rage the songs blame entirely on you, never once on the god who put him there. You did not start any of it. You only refused to let it go unanswered. But the version that survives is not the queen worshipped at Argos. It is the wife other poets found easier to mock than the husband they still needed to praise. The temples remembered something the poems didn't. A goddess feared, not laughed at. By the time anyone thought to ask which version was true, the louder one had already won. The last name on this list never asked for power at all. She only asked for safety, and the gods punished her for needing it. The curse comes first in every telling. Hair turned to serpents, a gaze that turns flesh to stone, a face too dangerous to look upon directly. That is where most of the songs begin. They rarely begin with who she was before it. According to the version the poet Ovid set down centuries after the oldest myths, Medusa served Athena as a priestess, young, devoted, bound by a vow of chastity she had chosen to keep. She was, by every account, faithful to a goddess who was supposed to protect her. Poseidon followed her into that temple anyway. What happened between those marble columns? No hymn repeats in full, only that when it ended, Medusa was not the same woman who had walked in. Athena arrived to find her sanctuary defiled. She could not touch Poseidon. No gods punish gods for this. So she turned on the ones still suffering from it instead. Medusa's hair became serpents. Her gaze became a weapon she never asked for. Perseus would later take her head as a trophy for a king who never once wondered how she got that way. Here is the detail the newer version leaves out. In the oldest surviving myth, centuries before Ovid, Medusa was never a victim at all. Simply born a monster, no temple, no priesthood, no assault. Somewhere between those two stories, someone needed her to be guilty. The only question left is who? 5 gods. 5 stories rewritten by whoever survived to tell them. History did not simply record these gods as monsters. It needed them to be. If you want to know who wrote the rest of that history and what it cost them, subscribe. The next one is even harder to look away from.